Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman. And okay, I saw this mini video and everything, and yeah, it bothered me a little bit, just a little bit, because men keep blaming women on not wanting to be submissive. I will not be submissive anymore because in my dating life, men have shown me why women need to be careful, why women should not be submissive, and how some men don't know how to be leaders because, okay, in order to be submissive to somebody, that somebody needs to be a good leader. They need to be someone you can trust, someone you can follow, someone who is at least a little educated in what they're talking about, someone who isn't just going off of ego or narcissistic behavior, someone who wasn't just saying, do as I say because I say it, do what I say because I'm a man, do as I say because you're my woman, you're my girl, basically, you're my property. Yeah, a lot of these men just act like, since you're a woman, you are mine. And some of them are getting that from the church. Some of them are getting that from these alpha men or the men who are saying, if the American woman won't obey, go be a passport bro. But it's just this woman in the video. So yeah, click and watch it and everything. But she states how her man asked her opinion beforehand. And you know what? Congratulations. Congratulations. You found a man that you can be submissive to. But that's not every man. This guy right here who is saying, like, listen, like, no. They need to also talk to the woman and ask her how her man is able to be like, what makes him worth being submissive to? What qualities? What leadership skills? And things like that. Because yes, he listens to her. That's great. Communication is vital within any type of relationship, especially male female marriage, like dating and things like that. And a lot of men, they don't want communication, they don't want to listen. And that's why in my dating profile, a lot of men, they get so insulted when I say must be willing to have deep conversations. And a lot of the guys are like, oh, you're a Democrat. You're not able to have deep conversation. Oh, you're a woman. So that means you're just supposed to have conversations in the kitchen or with your bottle of wine. I'm trying to remember offhand some of the ridiculous things men have told me. But yeah, a lot of men don't want to talk to the woman. They don't want to treat them like they're human. They want to have them cook for them, sleep with them, and clean for them. And when they make a decision, they want the woman to just nod their head. And I know I've mentioned this example before, but it just came to my mind. There was that one guy who was being interviewed, and I don't know what he does for work, but he makes enough money to be like on whatever show. And he was saying how he only dates broke women. He only dates broke women because that allows him the power to say, when I want a sandwich, when I want something, you better do it. So some men they want forced submissive. Yeah, they don't want a partnership. They will find someone that is weaker than them so that their power reigns over, so that they don't have an option because they have fear of being homeless, fear with being without. So when he says, make me a sandwich, she will go and make that sandwich because she doesn't have another option. And that's the way that guy wants the relationship. Because, let's see, with Mr. Lakaki, like he forced submission on me, because if I disagreed or if I wasn't going to do something when he said it or how he said it, he threatened to punch holes in the wall. So that's how he tried to get submission from me. Or he would threaten to do something else. And or when I caught him stealing money from my purse, it's like if I didn't forget about it, or sometimes he would tell me that, oh, maybe you must have forgotten that you spent that money. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Or maybe my brother stole it. I remember when he said that, and I'm just, yeah, it's like, let's just say his brother did enough non-legal things to make enough money to fend for himself. So he didn't care about what was in my purse. So it's like he made fun of me because I actually had a job and I worked. So yeah, no, he didn't care about what was in my purse. Trust me. But then with Mr. No Heart, oh my god, like, I still need to start the series of the over 40 reasons why I broke up with Mr. No Heart. But I remember when we first started talking, we weren't really official yet, but we were still talking, whatever. It's like he would say, I'm not going to be anyone's gray knight or shining like knight in shining armor or whatever. I'm not going to be anyone's hero. I'm not going to be anyone's this or that. And I love making people's lives miserable. And at first I thought he was kidding, but I thought, okay, you are finishing up your divorce, heartache, pain. Both of your parents had a lot, like more than one divorce. So, you're just going through some pain right now, whatever. But no, I realized no. Mm-mm. And so when it came to my life, whenever we went out, because I used to at least try to wear some makeup, or I try to wear cute stuff, but then I worked at in the inner city where the kids threatened to pour bleach on my clothes or cut me or etc., etc. But then also when I went out in public with my ex, if any man came up to me or opened the door for me and said, oh, you look beautiful today. Oh, how are you, precious? It's like, you better put a ring on that, sir. Because some of them even told him, you better put a ring on her finger. And he would ignore me for hours, sometimes for the rest of the night. And so I started getting into the habit of, okay, no makeup. Don't don't put as much effort. Don't put any effort. And since I was working at the school I was working at, I'm like, I don't have to care about what I wear because these kids are going to put bleach on it anyway. And I'm like, he doesn't care what I look like. The school, they don't like, I don't want to care what I look like with these kids. He's like, if you know, you know. It's like some of you educators, you know exactly what I go through. But anyway, it's like, so he forced me into submission of looking the part that he wanted me to look. And then financially, it's that man owes me so much money. But I think since he will turn it around with the gas money. Because I thought over time he would start paying me back once he started getting his life together. But no, no. And it was to the point where I still need to tell I was supposed to tell the Christmas story, because when I could no longer walk anymore, it happened like right before Christmas, a couple, like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. And I mean, I'll tell the whole story, but let's just say he taught me about how little he valued me and how he still wanted my wallet. He's like, financially, I went through a lot of financial trauma, especially with him. But I don't know. It's just crazy because if you're going to want submission from a woman, then you've got to be the leader. You've got to be somebody that she looks up to, and not look up to out of fear, not look up to because she's scared that if she, once she doesn't have you, she won't have anything. And it's really crazy how a lot of men, they encourage women to stay at home. They encourage women to not get educated, to not go to school, to not achieve much other than what that man like has passion or love for, or in the kitchen, or having their kids or whatever. It's like, if you're going to treat a woman like property, it's like that submission is power. That submission is not out of love. That submissiveness is not something that grows a relationship. It's like, it's not passion, it's not adoring, it's not, it's it's kind of like a pet. And I will never be a man's pet. Like, no, 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 no. But it's like, especially since I broke up with Mr. No Heart, it's like running into, especially like the Christian men. It's like when I tell guys, oh, yes, like I teach college classes here and there. Why do you do that? No, if you're going to date me, you're going to stop that. Oh, if you're going to write your books, then I better read it beforehand, because I need to make sure that I can allow you to publish. I'm like, excuse me? Allow me? Allow me? Because some of these men are confused with what submissive is. And I remember there is even that one Republican guy who, I think he's MAGA, but I remember he says whenever his wife wants to read a book, she has to show it to him to ask for permission. I will never. I will never. And I think maybe that's one reason I will never get married. Because if a man thinks that I'm gonna ask him permission to live my life and do what I want to do, stop, boo boo. No, sorry. No. No, 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 no. And so a lot of these men now, they have the nerve to try to blame women on not being submissive, but a lot of men want the power. They want glory. They want to be treated like a king. And they want that woman to just keep praising them and sharing how wonderful and brilliant. And even though some of the things he says and does not make any sense. Because, okay, here's another thing. With if you want a woman to be submissive, but then you want to tell a woman what it's like, okay, back to the money thing. Because, yeah, like I said, I've been through a lot of financial trauma. I invest money, and I do it to take care of myself for the future, to make sure that if there's anything that ever happens to me, that I have something to help me, like make sure I don't have to file for bankruptcy and everything like that. Then with my credit score, try to make sure that I have a good, strong, healthy credit score. But then there are men who tell me, you're such a square because you won't do this. And, oh, it's like, get these credit cards. And then I was like, no, like, I'm going to first build up my score. Then I'll get one, maybe like one every other year or once a year or whatever, depending on where I am financially and everything like that. And I've had men tell me that I'm stupid, I'm a waste of time, or that I should be going on, like I'm weak or I'm boring because I won't go on yearly either vacations or concerts or whatever. And part of me is just like, well, you know what? I will go to like once I get myself together to a point, I will start going. But first, I'm trying to make sure I have a base and I have a strong base. And with me, I need a strong man. If I'm going to be submissive to someone, I need a strong leader. I need someone who understands my, like, we don't have to agree on everything. Yeah, like that's a different story, but at least be on an understanding of each other. And also, when it comes to finances and things like that, for him to understand that I have mine and he's gonna have it, like, because yeah, some of the brainwashing at the church, they're like, oh, getting a prenup, that just means you're getting ready for divorce. Well, I guess I will be getting ready because I mean, I doubt I ever get married, but if I do, I will have a prenup. I will have a good, strong prenup because, yeah, I've worked like, and it doesn't matter what the other guy, like, because with the other guy, I'm going to tell him to get one too. And it's really crazy because back to Mr. No Heart, he he told me at the beginning, he was like, oh, well, let's just say, or when we first started talking or whatever, I hope you don't plan on trying to move into my house. I hope you don't plan on, and he just, like, throughout the beginning, he just kept listing, I hope you don't plan on doing this or that or whatever. And then I finally realized at the end, like, you wanted to make sure that I never needed you. But then you tricked me. Like, you would always gaslight me on, well, I have daughters. I need gas so I can get to work. You want me to be able to get to work, right? Because if I can't get to work, because him and his roommate forgot to pay the light bill one month, and yeah, paid for food for his daughters then. And did he pay me back? No, he didn't. And sometimes, like, but then later in life, it's like he might would pay for a meal, I'll pay for a meal. So it's like when it came to that specific situation, does it balance out? Like, yeah, I don't know. Because, yeah, I literally not only paid for food for them, but then it was, yeah, I've told the story before, but anyway, it's just shocking and crazy and everything like that because men want women to be submissive so badly, but then they don't look in the mirror because, okay, guys, if you were a woman, would you be submissive to yourself? Be completely honest. Financially, could she be submissive? It's like if she did not have a job or anything. And also, it's like if you would want her to be submissive in the house and everything, or if you were the woman, like, what would you want or expect from him in return? Especially if he wants you to be a stay at home wife, woman, and everything. Because I've had men tell me, oh, once we get together, you're quitting your job. I don't want you working. It's like, yeah, I was about to be engaged before to a guy who his parents were gonna pay for him to own his own sign. I think, yeah, I think it was creating sign, some kind of sign business or whatever. But he didn't like my work or being a promotional model. And even though I invited him to events and I was literally working for Starbucks, yeah, Starbucks was one of the clients, and that was one of my weekly like clients. And but yeah, he threatened that if I did not quit, that he was going to break up with me. And so I was just like, oh, bet, then we're breaking up. And he was so shocked. And I've had other men tell me, if you start your master's, then I hope you know we're not dating. And so then I'm like, okay, like, it hit hard because this is around the same time I was having, like, in this episode is towards the ladies because, okay, if you're doubting yourself, if you're scared of being single, don't be scared of being single because some of these men are only going to use you. Some of these men are just going to treat you like property because it's like, I haven't said it in a few episodes, so yay me, but I ended up getting used by men partially because I was scared of being single because my mom would keep telling me, as long as you walk like that, no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you. And so that's one reason why I tolerated some of the garbage from these men And at the same time, like their submissiveness was basically them using me and controlling me. Control is different than submissive. But I now know that the way a lot of these men want to use the submissive like capacity, I no, that's not I and especially now that I'm learning who I am after being diagnosed and as after escaping that very toxic relationship with Mr. No Heart, I have too many goals that I want to accomplish. And there are a lot of men like Tomas. I've told that story. Tomas broke up with me because I was publishing my children's books because he told me that I was too good for him. And there were other men who told me that too, or men who, when I showed them one of my children's books, oh, well, if I was going to write a book, then they would pick up a dictionary. I would write a book like this. Okay, then write it. And so there were a lot of men who they decided to be as toxic as they possibly could to me. And I'm just like, what? Instead of being toxic, like my dream type of relationship is like Mr. and Mrs. Obama. Because if you guys paid attention, Mrs. Obama, she encouraged him and like embraced him with being the president of the United States. And what did she do? She became submissive because she trusted him. She cheered him on. She was his biggest cheerleader. And at the same time, he loved her brilliance and he encouraged her. It's like, okay, you want to help with the obesity rates, especially with kids and everything? Do your thing, girl. Do your thing, baby. He did. That's the kind, like, that's the kind of relationship. But a lot of these men, they want the woman to like encourage them and push them and everything. But then they want to leave the woman in the kitchen. They want to leave the woman in a place where they feel like they have power. And but then they want to call us queen. But then they want to treat us like a servant. They want to call us queen. But then they want to say, threaten to leave us if we don't behave. They want to call us queen. But then if we have more education than them, or if we make more money than them, or if we know something that they don't know, then they're going to try to tell us that we're not being women enough, feminism enough. So when I see that clip in that video, it's like, okay, that woman might have a good example of a man, but there's not that many out there. A lot of these men are trying to be alpha men. A lot of these men are trying to have power over us. A lot of these men, it's like being submissive means being owned. A lot of these men don't want us to have those careers. They don't want us to have ambition. They don't want us to have goals that are separate from who they are separate from what they have power over. So we have to be careful. So while you're dating, you have to ask those like certain questions. And I guess I need to figure out those questions and write them down because sometimes it's the second, third, or fourth night when I'm on the phone with them, and then I start figuring out, oh, yeah, you listen to Joe Rogan. Yeah, you listen to Joe Rogan. Yeah, that's a red flag right there. That's a red flag right there. But anyway, thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. You're human too. And I will do another episode on what is submissive and maybe what questions to ask, what to be aware of, and like what key components make a strong relationship where a woman can trust you with being submissive, because communication is strong. So when that woman said that he asked her opinion first, he calls her and contacts her first, that's amazing. That's amazing. because I told you guys about the recycling story. But when I told, like, I knew he was wrong and he would not even look it up or research it first. But he slammed down his fist. And the way he slammed down his fist, basically trying to tell me to be quiet or shut up or whatever. Yeah, that right there. So if you men feel like that is how you put a woman in her place, that's how you don't end up with a wonderful woman. That's how you end up with someone who is in fear, like she's dating you out of fear. But she wants a man and she's scared to lose a man. But yeah, I'll talk, like, yeah, listen to I don't know which episode it is, but I tell more about that, the recycling story. So, and it's so stupid. It is so stupid. Oh, and just a reminder, clean out your recyclables. Clean them out. Don't leave the debris. That's not, like, don't do that. Okay. Okay. Thank you.